No athlete work harder than me. Fighters, no athlete works harder than me. You tell me one athlete right now that's been dominating the game for 16 years straight without a loss.
Some think that he's the best to ever do it. Others feel like he fought in the weak era or cherry-picked his way to the top. But in the end, nobody of sound mind is ranking him outside of the top 10 greatest boxers in history. Love him, hate him, somewhere in between, it doesn't really matter, because in the world of professional boxing, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is absolutely undeniable. But this isn't what today's video is about. Today, we'll delve into a seldom heard story before he was known as Money Mayweather and was more famous for his in-ring performances than his antics outside of the ring. No gimmicks, no cameras, just a young Floyd messing with the money of a guy that you just don't mess with, and paying the price.
When I asked my friend, I said, who number is this number right here? He said, oh, that's Floyd Mayweather, the 130-pound champion. So bam, a red light went off in my head because I prayed for a champion. Long story short, me and Floyd was in business together less than a week.
That's crazy.
I was his manager.
You didn't even know who he was?
I didn't know.
Our antagonist is James Prince, widely known as J. Prince. According to his Wikipedia page, he is the CEO of the Houston-based music label Rap-A-Lot Records, as well as a boxing manager. And technically, that's true. But technically, a wolf and a chihuahua can both be described as dogs. The truth is in the details. For decades, J. Prince has held the status of someone that you just don't cross. Not that he's an outwardly aggressive guy or anything, quite the opposite actually. He's a very friendly and charismatic individual, but there's an aura there. When he speaks, you listen, and when you need a problem solved, you call him. There are 1,000,001 stories about him out there, and it's tough to say which are true and which are false. They range from people leaving town just to avoid him, all the way to bodies being buried in locations that only he knows about. Here at GK, we don't accuse anyone of anything without some solid proof, so let's just say there is a general consensus that there is a lot more to J. Prince than his job description. And now that you're familiar with the characters, let's get into a time machine. Take a trip back to 2003. In the year 2003, Floyd Mayweather was still known as Pretty Boy Floyd and had just secured back-to-back wins against Jose Luis Castillo. He was the WBC and ring lightweight champion and was scheduled to face Philip Ndu in his next title defense with a guaranteed purse exceeding $3 million. His contract was also coming to an end, and feeling like his manager was getting too big of a slice of his earnings, Floyd allegedly decided to purposely push the fight back until it expired. The only problem was that his manager at the time was J. Prince, and he didn't take too kindly to losing out on a guaranteed $610,000. So he allegedly did what any guy in his position would. Sent several people armed with baseball bats to the top-ranked gym and had them assault several members of Floyd's team. One of the people to feel Prince's wrath was the current CEO of Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerbe. In a panic, Floyd contacted Bob Arum of Top Rank, who was his promoter at the time.
What can you tell us about helping Floyd Mayweather with dangerous Houston manager J. Prince? He's got a lot of fame, and Floyd needed you to fix that situation. What can you tell us about what happened?
Well, we were at dinner one night, and I got a call that there was a disturbance in my gym, and Floyd apparently had asked us not to do a fight in October, but to do it in December after James Prince's contract with him had run out. Well, the disturbance in my gym was that some people came over, with or without the knowledge of James Prince, and proceeded to break a couple of heads of people in Mayweather's camp with baseball bats. And so the gym was splattered with blood, and Floyd came to my office the next day and he said, Prince wants his money from the fight that's coming up. So I said to Floyd, fine, if that's what you want, I'll write him a letter of credit. And Floyd said to me, Prince don't do no letters of credit, you better send the cash. So I wrote a check and I made a contract with Prince's lawyer, and he got paid the money that he said he was entitled to as Floyd's manager.
That is the story of how Floyd Mayweather was extorted for $610,000. All those present have remained relatively tight-lipped about the situation over the years, and neither Floyd nor James Prince has ever addressed it publicly, but it has been pretty much confirmed as true. I want to thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because we post new videos weekly. With that said, I will see you soon.